Hello, my friends. I'm going to turn the camera around. That was a terrible angle. Holy crap, that was horrible. All right, so I thought I would jump on once again and show you guys this week's meal prep. You're going to see some standards that we do pretty much every week. I've talked about the tuna fish, the salmon, we do it every week. But this week it did take me a little bit longer because I did some things that we'll have as dinners this week as well. At most of you guys, if you've been a while, you know that I work two jobs. So number one, and number two, I don't really eat dinner. I eat all my calories at breakfast and at lunch, and so that just makes it easier on the way I do keto. So when Danny comes home, my husband, I will usually sit with him, but I don't eat anyway. So if I can already have something ready, that's going to help. One, on the days that I work both jobs, because I'm not cooking dinner anyway. Those days I usually have something in the crock pot or something he has to heat up anyhow. Plus, it'll also make it just easier if there is a longer day at work. I could be like, oh, hey, just grab blank, whatever. And it's not hard. It doesn't take a whole lot of extra if you're making a meal like a sheet pan or something like that. It is a bigger type of meal anyway, and then you can split it up. And that's a great tip for when you're meal prepping for your lunches. If you have a dinner that's like your favorite food and you're a person that doesn't care if you have leftovers, definitely check that out. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera around so that you can see that. And I'm going to have to, now I got it. I'm going to have to turn my timer off. I need to flip my chicken, but I'll do that when I'm done here. I have some, oops, keep turning the camera. I have some chicken for me cooking. Actually, I can do that while I do this. That's fine, right? I mean, you guys, so usually I make the wings every week. Hopefully you guys can hear me over the sizzle. Oh my goodness. But I had these chicken drumsticks that I bought in a butcher box, which I'll save that for another time, but I don't buy butcher box anymore. I only did it once, so there's the end of that story. But yeah, I'm not gonna go into that. Anyway, I had these and I wanted to use them up, and so I was like, you know what, instead of buying some more wings this week, I'll get this chicken. And I do like the fact that because these are from Butcher Box, these are pasture raised chickens. So they have, the meat's going to be really good. So we're at 425 and we got another 45 minutes on those. Basically, you cook them at 250 for 30 minutes and then raise the temp to 425 and cook them for an hour. I just have the 45 minutes because then I flip them over. Anyway, here we go. So we have our usual tuna fish. The only thing that's a little different is instead of celery and pecan butter, I just packed him, I kind of was lazy, and I just packed him some of these coconut fat bombs. And these are homemade. It's literally just coconut butter, which you use, toast some shredded coconut. You want to make sure it's toasted. If you don't toast it, it'll take forever or never ever actually get processed. And then I throw that in the food processor until it's liquidy or pretty close to liquid. And then I melt some cacao butter down and I throw that in there and then I pour them into silicone molds. So that's pretty simple. I have a whole freezer full of these actually as well. So it makes quite a bit. So it's something I could do about once every 2 months. And they're just nice little desserts, basically, is what they are. So with those coconut fat bombs, that puts those carbs at 15.4. So once again, I've got the carbs written on the outside, and this is just a dry erase marker that I use. And last week I messed up and I said that he eats like 11 carbs total for the day because I was looking at something that said 11. He eats not 11 total carbs for the day. Just so you know, he eats 35 total carbs per day. so my mistake if you watched last week. Down here, we have kind of a fancy, this is basically a charcuterie. I can never pronounce it. Board. It's a meat and cheese. So it looks kind of fancy. And I got this at Winco this week. Winco's in the Northwest. It's not really out east, I don't think. You guys probably have like Sam's Club. It's a similar thing to that, but you don't have to have a membership. But it came with, so it's got all these different meats. So it has the black pepper, Italian salami, Italian dry salami, prosciutto, and the dry coppa. The thing that I thought was interesting is they didn't list all the ingredients, which I thought was kind of funny. So, or all the nutrition. They only did 3 of them. I guess, hopefully we're back. Some cheese, some Colby Jack, some pepper jack, and these really delicious tomatoes. This is another thing I get at Winco in this package right here. And I just love them. They just have a really robust flavor, and it gives you a lot more variety for fairly low carbs. The carb count's really similar to just a grape tomato. So this whole container, because the only thing that has carbs is basically the tomatoes. I do buy black. I'll show you, as you can see, has 0 carbs. So in these is what they're listing. So they probably have some trace carbs, but as you guys know, I keep it simple. If it says it has 0 carbs, I count 0. If it says it has 1 carb, then I count 1 carb. I don't worry about it. But as you can see, it's 3.5 total. That is a total of 14 carbs. So as you can see, I try to keep his carbs around 14 for the most part, around 15 or under. But on some days, so on a day like that he has 3.5 carbs at lunch, that means at dinner he can have like a heavier dinner. So he might have fathead pizza that day, or he might have one of these chilies. So one of these is for him to take to lunch. And yes, this is a pickle jar that we washed and made it into, now it's a lunch jar. And I did write the carbs on there, but it looks like I wiped them off just now. This is pretty heavy. So this is 2 servings and is 27 carbs. And then this is just some shredded pepper jack cheese to go with that. So that'll be a little heavier carb meal for him. But like I said, if he has that on a day, he has this, then that's not a big deal. If he has lunch that day and has chili during his lunch, then that's the day he's going to come home and probably have a cheeseburger patty with some zucchini fries or something that's really super carb. And then these ones are mine. So basically I made this today. I use Peace, Love, and Low Carbs recipe that I tweak. I take out all of her diced tomato ingredients that she has, and I use just one of these jars of this salsa. And yes, this is the same jar as this. I love these jars. They're amazing. They're even marked, like they even have measurements on them. I love them. But this is 1 serving, so these will be what I would eat. So it's 1 cup, and then these are 2 cups each over here. And I would use Colby Jack because I don't like pepper jack cheese. So, but anyway, the Peace, Love, and Low Carb. So use this whole thing, and then I also I don't put the bell peppers in it because I don't like the bell peppers in the chili. I use 1 whole package of sliced cremini mushrooms. So, and then the other thing is I do 1 pound of beef, but then I add 1 of these packages of Applegate's uncured beef hot dogs. This is 10 ounces, but these have 0 carbs in them, as a good meat should, so there you go. And it's even grass-fed beef. Look at that. So they are kind of spendy, but like I said, we only eat them once a week. Put them in the chili, and for me to it's already a pretty high carby meal. So if we put hot dogs in there that had carbs, it'd make it, to me, a little bit too much. Then here we have some meatballs that I made. And under there, you can't really see it very well, but that is some asparagus that I roasted as well with olive oil, Parmesan, salt, and pepper. The meatballs are really simple. This is just a recipe I kind of threw together. It's a pound of meat, a ground beef, 2 tablespoons of flax meal, which is just the flaxseed ground up, a 1/4 cup of Parmesan, a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, and then I take the string cheese and I 4th it. So here's 2 little pieces that are left over. and I use my 1/4 cup muffin scoop, and I scoop out the meat mixture, and then I stuff one of these in the middle. So that's what you see there oozing out, is all that cheesy goodness. So that's super yummy, and it's really easy. And then he can use, these have 10 carbs. It's 9.6, I think. I need to add forks to these, and I need to give him some sauce. So I will throw some barbecue sauce. I really like the Primal Kitchen barbecue sauce. I'm going to turn this around real quick. I'll grab it out of my fridge, and I'll show you the two that we have. So we have the G. Hughes brand, which you can find at Walmart. And this one is sweetened. It's sweetened with sucralose. If you watch Keto Connected All, this is the one that she's obsessed with. And then I really like this barbecue sauce. It is unsweetened. It's Primal Kitchen's. It's a little bit on the spendier side. But I love things. There's so many few things that I don't have to make on the keto diet, especially not having sweeteners anymore. So anytime I can get something that's like really good. So he can dip, I'll put some in a little package, and then he can take that, I'll put that in the container, and I'll have to add those carbs in too, because those do usually have a couple carbs. So I'll add that on there. I just left, that's why I just kind of rounded up for now for the 9.6 carbs. The other thing I do use is this Primal Kitchen mayo. So it's made with oil, and that's what I use to make both the chicken salad that you saw last week, as well as the tuna salad. So a lot cleaner ingredients. If you have concerns about inflammation, definitely spend the money and get the stuff that uses real actual oils. And I have to order this online. I can't find anything like this in the stores that I live. They all have, even if they say like avocado oil on them or olive oil on them, you turn it around and the first ingredient is still soybean oil. And I'm like, okay, that's annoying. The other thing I made this week, or these are the egg cups. This batch made 12. I used 9 eggs, about a 1/2 cup of bacon bits, a cup of shredded cheese, and just some salt and pepper. And then I poured it into muffin cups. I did not spray them, which was a mistake. So they do stick to these, unfortunately. But Danny has really enjoyed these this week. It's kind of a little variety. Normally I just boil, this is a hard-boiled egg. So normally we just have this bowl full of hard-boiled eggs for him to just grab and go in the morning. So in the morning he literally grabs a breakfast item, one of his meals, and like I said, I usually stack them in the fridge, so it's legitimately just grab and go. He puts them in a little lunchbox he has, and there you have it. So you can see I've got more than enough meals here for his lunches for 7 days, and that's because some of these will be actual dinners that he'll eat this week as well. So I think that was everything I wanted to